Southeast Regional Library would like to acknowledge that this branch is located on Treaty 2 territory and the traditional homeland of the Lakota, Assiniboine, and Métis peoples. And Tawney, we'd like to present you with this tobacco for sharing your time and your knowledge with us today.
Écoutez. Tansi, Tawney Nisigathason. That means, hello, my name is Tawney Johnson in Cree. Before we begin, I'm going to be smudging. So before we smudge, we remove our jewelry so that we are in a natural state. And I just have a couple things to remove, so we're good to go. All right. Because I'm a woman, I'm going to be using sage, which is typically the woman's medicine. We also have sweetgrass, cedar, and tobacco are the 4 sacred medicines. For women, we use sage. Everybody can use sweetgrass. So all I do is I've picked sage from the Moose Mountain Hills, actually. It grows plentiful out there. As long as you have permission from the landowner, then you can go and pick it, or it does grow freely. So we're going to light that. And hopefully, nope. Sometimes it takes a couple times. Before I start working with anything, I do like to smudge the materials and myself, just so that everything's clean. And once the project is done, then I will smudge it again before I actually give it to a person, or before they take it home. So I'm just gonna light the sage there. And we always use matches, not a lighter. We never blow on the medicines. We use a feather if you have one. If not, you can just use your hand. We're just going to get this burning. So we just clean the feather first. In smudging, the smoke is what is used to cleanse ourselves and the materials that we're working with. So I will smudge myself first, and I will walk you through it as I go. So I smudge my eyes so that I can see clearly. I smudge my mouth so that I can speak in a good way. I smudge my ears so that I can hear everything with a good mind. Smudge my mind so I can think clearly. Smudge my heart. I smudge my arms so that I hug people in a good way. I smudge my legs so that I can walk in a good way, and just one. All right, and I'm going to do our camera person as well. So, yep, there we go. Okay, so you're gonna start with your eyes, then your mouth, then your ears, then your heart. Did you do your mouth already? Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then your arms. Yeah. Head. Okay. So arms. Head. Yeah. Head. And then your legs. Yeah. And then you're going to turn and I'm going to do your back. This is what I do for people. This is just for protection. There we go. Okay. And then I am going to grab the things that I'm working with and just give them a quick smudging. I know everything's in plastic here, but we're gonna do that. And I just like to extra do my hands and just all the tools. I don't do all the tools every time, but it helps. And then because we are working in this space, we will. And then we just let it burn out. So we're gonna put that to the side for now. Maybe did too much, and then I put my feather away. And that's how we smudge. And alrighty. That is mine. And I'm gonna just grab that. And I just put that to the side now. All right, I will put my glasses back on so that I can see. And my jewelry back on. We are set to go. Alrighty. So as I said, my name is Tawney Johnson, and I would just like to say thank you at this time to Southeast Regional Library for asking me to do this presentation. For Aboriginal Storytelling Month, We actually have a few different things going on, I think, in different regions. But for us in Southeast Regional Library, we are going to be learning how to do beaded earrings. So beading itself is a form of artwork that has dated back to, I'm not even sure how long. We used to use, as people of the original Turtle Island, before contact, we used natural items like bone and shells. And there was these things called willow beads, I believe, that grow on trees that just naturally have a hole in them. Porcupine quills, quilling was very popular as well. Once contact happened, glass beads were available, and they were widely popular and very, very good for trading. So a lot of the artwork turned to beading on the natural hide material. And then material itself started coming available. So we moved from hide to other things, but we still use it. It's a form of recognizing our history as Aboriginal people. So myself, I actually am a 60s scoop child, which just basically means I was adopted out from my home community. I was raised in Saskatchewan by a white family. And as I got older, I learned that I was Cree. I actually met my birth family. And I think I was in my 20s when that happened. I'm now in my 40s. So I'm still learning about my own culture. That is one of the unfortunate things that happened during the 60s scoop, is that our loss of culture happened to very many of our children. So it is our own paths that we choose, and my journey is to rediscover what my Cree culture entails. And one of the things is beading. I was told that my grandmother, my kukum, was a very good beater. So for it coming naturally to me, it just ties in for the whole family thing. It's been a great journey. I'm still learning. There are still very many stitches that are available. When I started, I actually was working with larger beads and different materials. So I was doing these beaded bookmarks, and this is loomless. You can use a loom. I didn't have one, so I learned how to do it loomless. And these are 6/0 beads, so they're larger. And I used 6-pound test fishing line. For this project, we'll be using 4-pound test because the 6-pound is actually pretty stiff. If you see, it doesn't move very good, and it's thicker, so it doesn't go through the smaller beads. The ultimate place that I would like to be is these are earrings that are made by a woman. Her name is Melanie Parsons, and she has her own company called Savage Rose. I actually don't know how long she's been beading, but she can tell her work is amazing. I was lucky enough to receive these as a gift for Christmas. That is the ultimate goal, where I'd like to be. I have a long road ahead, but that's okay. I was playing around with stitches when I was still doing the beaded bookmarks, and I learned how to do this is called peyote stitch, and typically you actually see it wrapped in a tube. I haven't figured that out yet. That is a lesson that I will be teaching myself in this next year, I'm sure. Here is some of my work that I have created. Of course, the medicine wheel earrings, which we will be doing today. This is brick stitch is what it's called. And with brick stitch, you have the option of doing a couple different patterns. So originally I had started, you can actually see the work here has changed quite a bit. So with these earrings, I've gone to the inside and the outside. And for these ones, I've gone to either side so that you can see them head on. And then with the ones that we're doing, we're just starting off basic. So we're only going to do the 2 rows around the one earring. It is easier, I find, to do beadwork on an object than it is freehand, which I guess I learned the opposite direction. But when you don't have somebody teaching you and you're learning online, that's how it goes. So when you get your kits, you're going to have you might have different sizes. I'm not actually sure, but these are widely available hoop earrings. They're just easy. They're fairly cheap in price. There's different colors too. So we actually will be working with the black hoops today. And then, of course, like I said, the 4-pound test, a pair of scissors you'll need, which you'll have to give yourselves. Now, the needles that we will be working with are the big eye ones. And I'm going to move over here so that you can see how big that eye is, because with actual beading needles, the eye is really, really small. And when you're working with the fishing line, I've found I can use them. I have to bite on the end of the fishing line in order to get it started in there and pull it through. So that's a little bit difficult for a tutorial. So I decided we can use the wide open needle eye, and they work just as well. I've actually found when they've broken that I can just kind of use my hands and just kind of feed it through there. It just helps to get everything set up. The one thing that you will not have in your kit, which I neglected to tell our people about, was just a hard needle, which you can get at the dollar store, the package of like 70 hard needles. And that's just as we're working, I like to pull it tight, because if you don't pull the like when you get to a certain, you'll see as I'm working, I'll just go back and I'll pull everything tight and get that as tight as possible, because you don't want that wiggling around the hoop itself. But I'll show you that in a second. So that's all the things that I have. I was going to show you the different beads and how I've come through the process. So like I said, with these bookmarks, I was using beads from Walmart, which I don't suggest you doing. I have a lot and I can make a lot of bookmarks with them. They are not all the same size. That is the one thing. When you go to a bead supplier and you get the beads that we will be using, they are more uniform in shape and they're easier to work with then. And they do come in different sizes then. And when I was first starting, they only had the 6/0 size, and they come in several different sizes. And all that means is the ones that we are going to be using are size 10s. So it takes 10 seed beads to make an inch, whereas it takes 6 seed beads to make an inch for the larger ones. And then the smaller you go, it increases in size just to get to that inch mark. Just a little background. And then these are the beads that I've moved to working with for the earrings. And we're actually lucky in this area. Carlisle So-and-So's is where I actually get these bags of beads. Although you can get online, and especially in these times, we use online a lot. So I've actually ordered smaller beads from a company. Where is it out of? Oh, this one's out of the States, but there's lots of Canadian companies too that sell the smaller beads. Those are more detailed work. It takes a lot longer, and I will just show you here. I've started a pair of earrings here, and we'll just go this way. You see how sparkly they are for one thing, but they are smaller, so I can go a little bit more out with the rows. So that's one pair there. I've usually got a few projects on the go. This was where I was thinking that I was going to teach you guys, but honestly, with working with these beads, they are very small and very difficult. So just for us beginner beaders, working with the bigger beads helps a lot. As you get better and you keep practicing, you'll probably wind up like me and ordering beads online, and you'll need a bigger craft room. Anyway, there we go. We have those. Those are some of my projects. And I'm just going to take a little aside just so that you can see the progression. This is ultimately where I was going with my beading. This is 2-needle beading method. I'm not confident enough in it yet to do a tutorial. Maybe in a year or two, I will be able to show you guys. This is actually a Christmas present for my husband. He's a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. I started it way too late, so he actually didn't get it for Christmas. And as you can see, I'm not quite done. I don't have the proper color beads for the face. I'm waiting for the order for that. And then when you're finished, because I use the fishing line, you can't see the stitching, which actually works really good. But I do have a collection of hide from when I was making dream catchers that I will back this with hide, and then I'll edge it. I'll sew it together and then then you add a peyote stitch necklace to it and it will become a medallion. I'm not sure if that's the way he wants it to be. It's up to him. Anyway, that's the progression of where we're going. 2 needle beading method is very difficult and very time consuming. So we're not quite ready for that yet. All right. Well, I think I've walked through all the materials. So I think we're ready to actually get underway to where we're going to make our earring.